Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about the ultimate instruction manual, your genetic code. Seriously, think about it. How do you pack an entire library of information, the blueprint for a whole person, into a space so small you can't even see it?
So let's just dive right in. How on earth does a single cell manage to hold the complete set of instructions to build an entire person? I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing, right? Every single one of the trillions of cells in your body, it all started from that one little cell.
Well, the secret, as you might have guessed, is in something we call the genetic material. The best way to think about it, it's like the cell's ultimate hard drive, a biological server that stores every single byte of data needed for life, from the simple stuff to the really complex things like making more of itself.
So this genetic material is what we call a nucleic acid. And for almost all life on Earth, I'm talking from the tiniest bacteria all the way up to us, that nucleic acid is DNA. But, there's always an exception. Some viruses, like, the coronavirus, they kind of play by their own rules and use a different molecule called RNA.
So why is DNA the star of the show? What makes it so special? Well, it all comes down to one word: stability. Imagine DNA is like a message carved deep into stone. RNA, on the other hand, is more like a message written in the sand. I mean, if you're trying to store the permanent, super precious blueprint for life itself, you're definitely going to choose the stone, right?
Okay, so what actually makes DNA this fortress of information? To figure that out, we've got to look at its core components. Let's basically take this incredible molecule apart and see what it's made of.
There's a really great analogy for this. If you think of DNA as a house, then the bricks it's built from are these little molecules called nucleotides. The whole giant, magnificent structure of DNA is just built by stacking these nucleotide bricks one after another, forming a massive chain.
And here's what's so amazing about it. It's the simplicity behind all this complexity. Every single one of those bricks, the nucleotides, is made from just 3 basic parts. That's it. It's this super elegant repeating recipe that nature uses to build, well, everything that's alive.
All right, so here's the recipe. You've got 1 phosphate group, then a 5-carbon sugar called deoxyribose, and finally something called a nitrogenous base. Phosphate, sugar, and a base. You'll link those 3 things together, and boom, you've got a nucleotide. These are literally the letters of our genetic alphabet.
Oh, and here's a neat little trick to remember a key difference, because the names are so similar. A sugar and a base together, that's a nucleoside. S for sugar. But when you add that phosphate group, it becomes a nucleotide. See, it's all about that T for the phosphate. Kind of handy? Okay, so we've got our bricks. Now, let's see how they all come together to build one of the most iconic, most famous shapes in all of science, the incredible DNA double helix. So, this is where Watson and Crick's famous model comes in. They figured out that DNA isn't just one long chain. Nope, it's 2 of them, elegantly twisted around each other into that classic double helix shape. But here's the thing, it's not just a random twist. This structure follows a very, very precise set of rules.
If you picture the double helix as a twisted ladder, the rungs are made up of pairs of those nitrogenous bases. And get this, in the human genome, there are about 3 billion of these rungs. 3 billion. And the pairing is super strict. Adenine, which we call A, always pairs up with thymine, T. And guanine, G, always links with cytosine, C. A with T, G with C. That's the rule. No exceptions.
Okay, here's another really crucial rule. The 2 strands, the 2 sides of the ladder, they run in opposite directions. The best way to think of it is like a 2-lane highway. Traffic flows one way in one lane and the opposite way in the other. We call this anti-parallel. One strand runs in what we call a 5' to 3' direction, and the other goes 3' to 5'. Don't worry too much about the numbers, they just give the strands a direction. But this whole anti-parallel setup, it's absolutely essential for how DNA is able to copy itself.
All right, so we've got this incredible molecule, this amazing blueprint. But there's a giant problem, and I mean giant. This thing is incredibly, ridiculously long. So how in the world does the cell solve this massive packing puzzle? Okay, get ready for this. If you could take the DNA from just one of your cells and stretch it out, it would be about 2.2 meters long. That's taller than most people.
And all of that is crammed inside a space so small you literally cannot see it. Wild, right?
So, this is the ultimate packing challenge, isn't it? How do you take a thread that's over 2 meters long and stuff it into a nucleus that's completely microscopic? Well, as it turns out, nature has a pretty brilliant and honestly super elegant solution. The solution is basically to spool it up. It's genius. See, DNA has a negative charge, so the cell uses these little proteins called histones, which have a positive charge, to act like tiny spools. The negatively charged DNA just naturally wraps itself tightly around these positively charged histone spools. This little DNA and spool package is called a nucleosome, and that's just the very first step in this masterful art of packing DNA. So you might be wondering, why does any of this microscopic detail really matter? Well, because this unbelievably elegant system of storage and retrieval, it's the very foundation of life itself. It's how life works, how it copies itself, and how it evolves over millions and billions of years. Think about it. This simple, elegant code packed away so efficiently, it holds the entire history of life on this planet. It's like a living library passed down from generation to generation, a testament to billions of years of evolution. It is, without a doubt, information storage perfected. So I want to leave you with this one final thought. From the simplest bacterium to the giant blue whale, the language of life is exactly the same. Our entire biological story, everyone's story, is written with just 4 letters, A, T, C, and G. So what does that really say about our profound shared connection to every single living thing on this planet?